Using a table of values to graph a linear function. What are key points? Key points are the points or key coordinates or important points that are used when working with linear functions. A linear function has two key coordinates, the x-intercept and the y-intercept. The x-intercept is the point on the x-axis where the graph representing the function crosses the x-axis. In our illustration, the x-intercept is at the point 3, 0. And we can label it the x-intercept. At this point, the value of y is 0. The coordinate would be x, 0. The y-intercept. The y-intercept is the point on the y-axis where the graph representing the function crosses the y-axis. Here is an example. The green dot is placed at 2 on the y-axis where it crosses the graph. We could label that the y-intercept. At this point, the value of x is 0. Our coordinate would be 0, 2. You could represent any y-intercept with the coordinate 0, y. Now, how do we use x and y-intercepts? Plot an x-intercept, plot the y-intercept, join the 2 points, and we have the graph of a linear function. Now, a second method would be to find the slope of a line. Let P1 be at 3, 0 and P2 at 0, -5. Join these 2 points with a straight line to represent a function. Now I want to find the slope of the line. We know from our previous work that the slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. If we substitute in our values, -5 minus 0, 0 minus 3, we will come up with the slope value of 5 over 3. If you are given the equation for a linear function and need to find the x and y intercepts, create a table of values. But what is a table of values, you ask? A table of values is a table that you create to find the y value when given an x value, or to find the x value when given a y value. Ah, great, now I know. But let's investigate more closely. You would have one column, you would label x. You would have one column, you would label y. In the second row, you would put a 0 for x and a question mark for y because we don't know what that value is at this moment. In the third row, you would put a question mark for x and a 0 for y. Now you're ready to investigate. Now we need to fill that in. But we need an example, and here happens to be one. 2x plus 7y is 14. Let's start by substituting 0 for x into the equation and solving for y. 2 times 0 plus 7y is 14, so y must be 2. Now we will fill in the question mark with the value of 2 in the table. And now let's find the value for x. Substitute 0 for y in the equation and solve for x. 2x plus 7 times 0 is 14, so x is 7. Now replace the question mark with 7 in the table in row 3. Now use the table of values you have made to create the graph. Here is the table of values, x and y. The first coordinate then would become 0, 2. and the second coordinate would become 7 and 0. Once you have these two coordinates plotted on the graph, connect the dots. Add the equation name to the graph. Great job, everyone! Now let's put our new knowledge to work.